Welcome back. Let's start in Rwanda. Rwanda is in discussions with Rostekhnadzor, Russia's nuclear regulatory authority, to explore future cooperation in nuclear energy oversight and technology. Talks were held in Moscow on February 16 between Rwanda's ambassador to Russia, Major General Joseph Nzamwita, and Rostekhnadzor Chief Alexander Stremsky. According to officials, the Russian regulator expressed readiness to support Rwanda in supervising nuclear facilities and sharing expertise in related technological fields. The meeting resulted in plans to prepare a cooperation agreement between Rostekhnadzor and the Rwanda Utilities Regulatory Authority. Kigali aims to increase electricity generation to more than 3,000 megawatts, up from the current 447 megawatts, partly through small modular nuclear power plants. Infrastructure Minister Dr. Jimmy Gasore previously said the first feasibility study has been approved with another impact assessment on the way. The government targets commissioning in its first small nuclear plant between 2030 and 2032 as it expands partnership with Russia, the United States, and European countries. Moving ahead, the commander of the United Nations mission in South Sudan in Juba, Brigadier General Muhammad Iqbal Hussein, on Tuesday visited the 3rd Battalion of the Rwanda Defense Force, serving in South Sudan, praising their professionalism and dedication. He was received by Battalion Commander Colonel Innocent Muhirwe, who briefed him on the unit's responsibilities, particularly the protection of civilians. Hussein commended the Rwandan troops for their discipline and conduct, stressing the civilian protection remains the mission's primary objective. He urged strict adherence to rules of engagement and restraint in the use of force. The commander also referenced his visit to the Kigali Genocide Memorial, highlighting the responsibility of peacekeepers worldwide. Rwanda has deployed troops, police units, and an aviation contingent to South Sudan since 2011, playing a key role in security, community outreach, and institutional support. Now let's take a short break to be back on the international news. Welcome back. On the international news, France and Algeria agreed on Tuesday to restart security cooperation during a visit to Algeria by French Interior Minister Laurent Nunez, marking the first sign of a thaw in diplomatic ties.
The international news started in Africa, where Algeria and France agreed Tuesday to restore security cooperation during a visit to Algeria by French Interior Minister Laurent Nunez, signaling a tentative thaw in the strained diplomatic ties. After talks with President Abdelmadjid Tebboune, Nunez announced the reactivation of a high-level security cooperation mechanism covering judicial coordination, policing, and intelligence sharing. He said both sides aim to normalize relations quickly and maintain dialogue at a senior level. Ties between Paris and its former colony have been tense since France backed Moroccan sovereignty over Western Sahara in 2024, a move opposed by Algeria. Cooperation has also stalled over Algeria's refusal to readmit nationals living illegally in France. Nunes thanked Tebboune for instructing authorities to improve collaboration on readmissions. The minister said he also intended to address drug trafficking and counterterrorism as Algeria borders instability hit Niger and Mali. It remains unclear whether talks included the case of French journalist Christophe Grace's saved on terrorism-related charges. Proceeding on international news, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde is considering stepping down before the end of her term in October 2027, the Financial Times reported on Wednesday. According to the report, Lagarde may leave ahead of France's 2027 presidential election to allow President Emmanuel Macron to help shape the choice of her successor. Her potential early departure comes amid concerns that France's far right could win the spring 2027 election, potentially complicating the appointment of the next head of the European Central Bank. Macron, who cannot seek a third term, would otherwise have limited influence over the selection process if Lagarde serves her full mandate. The report said Lagarde has not fixed a departure date, but wants Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz to play central roles in choosing her successor. An ECB spokesperson denied any decision had been made, stating Lagarde remains fully focused on her responsibilities. Concluding our international news, Ukrainian and Russian negotiators resumed US-mediated peace talks in Geneva on Wednesday, seeking an end to Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. The negotiations follow a 10-6-hour session on Tuesday, described by a source close to the Russian delegation as very tense. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff said discussions had produced meaningful progress, and both sides agreed to brief their readers and continue working toward a deal. He credited President Donald Trump with bringing the parties together. However, skepticism remains. Critics question Washington's decision to task Witkoff and Jared Kushner with handling both the Ukraine war and Iran nuclear talks simultaneously. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv was ready to move quickly toward a fair agreement, but doubted Moscow's commitment to peace. Protesters waving Ukrainian flags gathered near the United Nations offices as talks continued. This is the end of our international news. This is Mama Rugagasabo Television.
As we come to the end of our news edition, let's remind you of the top stories that we talked about. Rwanda holds nuclear energy cooperation talks with Russia's Rostekhnadzor. UN commander hails Rwandan peacekeepers in South Sudan. On the international news, Algeria and France agreed to restore security cooperation. And this marks the end. Stay tuned.